Hey, Bashar, you're just the best, and I would love to have more access to your material. Let me just ask you a quick question or two, and it's about energy and gravity. Are they not one and the same thing? And if so, what do you know about the energy and the gravity regarding black holes and the event horizon? How does that all come together from your perspective?
Energy, what you call energy, in its different forms, and gravity are expressions of one particular thing that they both issue from. But the idea of black holes and their event horizons and the surface, or what might pass for the surface of a black hole, is that which consolidates and contains all the information of the universe that they're in, and other universes as well. As we have said in the past, we are aware of a particular interdimensional civilization that can actually extract information from the event horizon of black holes, because that's where it all resides. The information doesn't actually go into the black hole. Sometimes it can go through it to other realities, other realms, other universes. But the information is always available in the event horizon or surface of a black hole and can always be extracted. Nothing is lost. Vibration, resonance, it's all about that. And those things are expressions of the fabric of existence itself that translates into energy, gravity, time, space, so on and so forth. But it is the actual frequency of existence itself that gives rise to all these things.
Hi, Bashar. Thanks for being here.
Our passion and our pleasure. Thank you for being there as well.
Oh, it's been great to have this opportunity. I just want to start by saying I so appreciate this reflection because 3 days ago I sat under the moonlight and I was remembering our interaction where you shared that the moon reflects the energy from Epsilon to our world. And I was just sending love to the Sasani family and the planet. And I remember many of our interactions. And then now we're having this conversation. So thank you.
My pleasure, my passion. Thank you.
I want to ask about my hybrid son, Clover, since he has been sending a lot of synchronicity this morning, leading up to the conversation. So I felt him very strongly around. And I want to ask if he has a message that he wants to send with you.
One moment. Are you planning a trip?
Yes.
Where?
The Caribbean, back home to Venezuela.
All right, all right. Remember that you will always be in touch with Clover, no matter where you are. And to carry that energy with you on the trip that you are about to take.
Okay. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. That's a big confirmation of the trip that I need to make is because of family situation.
Yes, well, remember that he's part of your family.
Yes, of course. He's the first hybrid son that I made contact with, and with my mom as well. She's very close to him.
All right, so if you maintain the vibration feeling that you have when you think of Clover, keep that vibrational state when you're dealing with the rest of your family, and everything will be all right.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Bashar. That was amazing. So another question I have is about the hybrid children, and I have been having a lot of lucidity in my interactions with them in the dream state, and they seem to be very interested. I mean, this group at least, in the Nightmare Before Christmas, the songs, the theme of Halloween.
Yes. Do you understand synchronistically that the channel is actually wearing a Nightmare Before Christmas shirt?
Oh, wow. No. Oh my God, this is perfect. This is so amazing.
So take that as a sign that you are in connection with the hybrid children and Clover. Keep that vibration with you as you go on your journeys.
Okay, perfect. It's just curious. I mean, I think I feel the answer, but is it Clover the boy that pretends to be Jack Skeleton and sings with me in the
Sometimes.
That's amazing.
Sometimes it's others, but sometimes yes.
Okay. And also in one of my experiences in lucid meditation, I saw many beings that many I couldn't count, and they all looked like insects with like aviator
Yeah.
glasses.
Well, you're looking at the
Uh,
grays.
oh, those were the grays. Okay, amazing. I felt the connection with all of them, and
Yes.
there were fears coming up. That makes sense. I felt like they're taking my children, and then I laughed and I said, "I know this is me working through the experience," and they were very like
Yes.
open and loving. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's because you're part of the hybridization agenda and you gave yourself an opportunity to see all the beings behind it.
Okay, beautiful. I'm very grateful for that encounter. It was amazing.
All right.
And just like one last question I have, the same theme of the nightmares and the dream. One of my hybrid daughters, her name is Prickly Pear, and she's very mischievous. And after we started experiencing, like playing with the Nightmare Before Christmas themes, she started to make monsters in my dreams, and she sends monsters to a friend's dreams as well. And we recognizes her energy, her frequency. She always teases and she says that we don't appreciate her art, and it's like evil plants with teeth. And we always feel her and feels a sunny frequency around her. So we were just curious about that interaction and how excited she is for monsters.
Yes. Well, many people on your planet are excited about monsters too, which is why you have so many horror films and
Yeah.
horror books and so on and so forth. Because again, it can be used in an artistic and cathartic way to get you over your fears by understanding that they're all, in a sense, illusionary projections.
Okay. So in a way that is also the things that I've dealt with in life that feel similar to what I
Yes,
would say a nightmare. Is a like a friendly way of working through this.
exactly.
I
So
see.
she's helping with that.
Okay, awesome. But those were all my questions. Thank you so much, Bashar.
You are welcome. Aveo.
Okay.
Hello, Bashar. This is Yolanda from Hong Kong. Do animals see death differently than human? After my pet passed away, my other pet seemingly unaffected by the passing. I always wondered why. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Because pets can perceive that they're still in touch with those that have passed into spirit. Death is different for them. They see it as it really is, just a transition to a slightly different state. And I do mean slightly, because remember, you're in spirit right now, all of you. You're just pretending that you're not. So the idea of death is simply a shift to your natural state, which the pets have always been able to perceive and still can perceive in many cases. Many pets who seem to mourn are taking on a reflection of the human idea that you've lost something. They're just reflecting that to you so you can deal with it and learn the idea that you're always connected to those that are in spirit. So the idea is that yes, they can be good reflections, animals can, for you, for humans, that the idea is just a transition from one room to another and that they're still in touch with them. Thus, they seem unaffected because for them, not much has changed. They're still in contact with those in spirit because they always have been. That's always a part of an animal's consciousness. To be aware, in most cases, of animals that are in spirit, of the part of themselves that are in spirit, and the part of other animals that are always in spirit, no matter what physical representations they may project, to be an aid and assist and service to other life on the planet.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
We have lots of great questions, especially about ghosts.
All right.
Where are our loved ones who have passed away, and how can we connect to the people we've known when they're no longer in their body? How can one go and find them when they aren't in time and space anymore? And if we do reach out, how can we know that we are actually connecting with them rather than our idea or image of them?
Well, first of all, they're right here. It's just that they're in a different vibrational frequency. So the idea is that everything is here and now, including the spirit world. So they're right here with you. Now, that doesn't mean that they're always paying attention, but the idea is that it simply takes a slight shift in frequency for them to be aware, to connect with you when you send them any kind of message, be it verbal, emotional, or a thought. You are connecting. They do receive it. You may not always receive what they send you back. You may not always be paying attention or be of the correct frequency, or your thoughts or beliefs may be getting in the way of receiving their message clearly, but they are always sending love and encouragement. And if you allow yourself to know that and be of that same frequency of love and connection, then just the very idea that you wish to connect lets you know that you are connecting. You just have to allow yourself to clear yourself out of any ideas, thoughts, or belief systems that would make it seem difficult to receive what they send you, and also pay attention to the synchronicity in your life, since that is often an easier way for spirits to get a message across to you. But again, they always receive. Now, whether it is your own thoughts or not, as long as you pay attention to the idea that what you are receiving, even from your own higher mind, or from the thought patterns within your physical mind, as long as they are encouraging, connective, expansive, positive in that sense, then you can rest assured that they are, at the very least, in harmony with the kinds of messages and thoughts that spirits would send to you. If there is any fear in them, anything that diminishes you, anything that negatively judges you, anything in that sense that feels disconnected, you are probably dealing with your own fear-based beliefs or a negative ego echo. So it's about the energy, the way in which the connection or message or information makes you feel, and that will assure you that you are making a connection in a positive way to the spirits, whether you are capable of literally perceiving their message or not.
Okay, thank you. Please enlighten us regarding the relationship between capturing orb images with digital cameras and the etheric realm. Are these orbs conscious entities? And if so, are they trying to communicate with us? What is it that they're trying to communicate with us? And is it necessary to use a certain type of flash mechanism for an orb image to appear?
Many devices on your planet, such as digital cameras, are simply capable of picking up certain frequencies that your eyes do not commonly see. The orbs can be many things. They can be probes from another dimension, in which case they wouldn't necessarily be conscious. They would be more like mechanisms made of energy, constructs designed for certain purposes of gathering information. But in its natural state, a spirit will usually return to the shape of an orb. It doesn't necessarily project what you would recognize as a bodily image when it's in its natural state, though it can do so. It can shift into that form if necessary. So sometimes the orbs will be representative of spirits that may just be around you all the time, or may be coming and going. And if you are sensitive enough to perceive them, or your devices are sensitive enough to perceive them, they don't necessarily always have a message for you. You may just be perceiving what is around all the time and breaking through that barrier that allows you to perceive that they are always here, just on a different frequency.
Can you tell us what ghosts are made of? And you've said that they are on the etheric shell of the shell's birth. So is there like a ghostly periodic table of elements within their shell? And are ghosts made of different materials on different planets?
The idea is that these shells are quite common on many different planets and would be very similar in terms of a ghost on one planet or a ghost on another. There may be some slight differences depending upon the vibrational frequencies that are necessary for beings to perceive them or for them to express themselves in different cultures and different civilizations and different worlds and dimensions. But the idea in general is to understand that everything that you think of as an element in your physical reality, your so-called periodic table, also have energy components, non-physical components. Remember, as above, so below. Everything has a non-physical template that allows the physical template to base itself upon. So the idea is that it may not be as many elements necessary to be expressed energetically in ghostly material, but overall, it is simply a refined version of physical matter. In other words, the idea of physical reality is a densification of the idea of what we call electromagnetic energy. Therefore, it can have a more refined, higher vibratory representation, or it can have a denser, more crystallized representation that you would recognize as physical matter, and any level in between. So the idea of a ghost appearing physically, or even to some degree to your senses, even transparently, would simply be a dialing down of the frequency, a lowering of the frequency of the same material you're made of in general, maybe with not as many components. But the idea is that you all are made of electromagnetic energy. It is kind of the idea that is recognized or labeled as ectoplasm when it is of a certain frequency densification. And to strengthen that densification would render it down into physical matter, would take on more corporeal elements that are designed to represent itself as a dense crystallization depending upon the elements that are involved. But the idea is that it's all kind of the same matter at different density levels. Again, by a crude analogy, much the same as the idea of ice and water, liquid water and steam are all the same element, just at different frequencies. So it's sort of similar to that idea.
Okay. And is ectoplasm real?
Yes, as I just said, it's just a way of describing a certain state of the idea of electromagnetic energy, whether it is refining itself at a higher frequency or whether it is lowering its frequency and becoming more densified. So it's simply a state somewhere in between, sort of what you might call astral matter or etheric matter. It's kind of all the same thing, again, maybe with not as many elemental components represented in the vibratory frequency overall, but in general, you all have this matter, you all have this substance that is utilized at different frequency levels, whether it be transparent, invisible, or dense like physical matter that is opaque.
Okay, and can pets take on a ghost body after passing? And is this very common?
They don't take on a ghost body. They have the same kind of levels of expression of consciousness that you do. So the idea of quote unquote dropping their physical form or expanding their vibration to become spirit simply lets them go back to their natural state, as do you when you die. So it's not that they take on the body, that is their natural state. They densify themselves just as you do to come into material form that you would recognize as physical matter. So yes, of course, they have their own spirit forms.
And is there a reason why a pet would take on a ghost body or express their ghost body to physical people?
Well, there can be many reasons. Again, you are connected to them. They can shift their vibration when necessary to be more represented in your physical material world to at least some degree. So it depends upon the relationship, it depends upon the reasons, it depends upon the circumstances and why it might be necessary for them to do so, or why it is that your senses may be capable, being more refined on a higher frequency, of picking them up, even though they may not necessarily be densifying themselves to any great degree, you might be able to perceive them because you refined your senses by taking them to a higher frequency that's closer to the level in which the pet is existing.
Can you think of an example where an animal might become visible like that to an individual after they've passed? That, particularly an owner.
Yes, well, let us say that for some reason the owner has synchronistically attracted themselves to a situation that might be somewhat dangerous to them. And therefore the pet may materialize to some degree to act as a warning, to let them know not to proceed or to pay attention to something that's very important for their safety.
Okay. I mean, this has to do with death, but it just occurs to me to ask that a hawk appearing on a branch in a tree in your yard when you have a kitten and seeing it's actually on the branch eating another bird. What kind of a representation having to do with death and also the safety of the kitten would you perceive about that?
There are far too many interpretations of that particular scenario. It would have a lot to do with the people that are observing it, the situation at hand, and many other factors that are simply too numerous to go into. You would have to take everything into account that's going on in that particular scenario.
Interesting. I just wondered if it comes up as a warning, when animals show up like that and show a scenario like that, it also could be a warning, right?
Well, that's one possibility, but it's not inevitably so. It could mean many different things. Again, it depends on what those symbols represent to people, so on and so forth. So there are just too many interpretations and too many personal issues that may be involved in that kind of a scenario to give an overall generalization.
And this person is saying that whenever they see a roadkill or an animal that's passed, they say a quick prayer for them. Thank you for your energy and light. May you rest in peace, knowing you are loved here on earth. I then do the Reiki power symbol and say, and so it is. Does it help the animal? Can they feel it? Could you please revise or add to this blessing so it has more power and love to it?
The animal can absolutely feel it and does receive it and will return and reflect the love back. But in a sense, it's more about helping the human by doing those things. They're helping themselves. The idea is that the animal is always connected, always loving, always sending. This ritual, this permission slip that the human is describing, allows the human perhaps more efficacy in receiving the reflection of love and gratitude and appreciation that the animal is always sending.
Okay, and this individual is saying, how is it that a non-physical ghost can move physical things or do harm to a physical being? My ex-wife grew up in a haunted 2-story home in Placer County and had several creepy experiences. At age 7 or 8, she woke up at night in bed and felt she was being choked. When she got up and looked in the mirror, her throat had finger marks on it. The 1870 piano that came with the house would play middle C in the middle of the night. She also experienced heavy breathing on her face and many other things.
There are many things going on here, and again, too many details to go into with regard to that specific series of incidents. However, to answer the basic question, it's as we said before. A spirit in certain circumstances may be capable of densifying itself to the point where it can actually interact with physical matter. Because again, physical matter is just a densification of the same energy that the spirit is made of as well. So the idea is that based on the frequency, if a harmonic chord is struck, if the frequencies harmonize and match to some degree, then it's possible that one can affect the other. But we won't go into all the reasons for those experiences as you've described them, because right now it's way too complex. And there are many things on many different levels happening in the scenario you have just illustrated.
How can we get better at interpreting these things? Because, for example, you've done this with many people and you're able to perhaps glean more information than we might be able to. How can we enhance our ability to interpret these situations?
Raise your frequency. That's all you need to do. With the raising of the frequency comes more ability to interpret information, and more information that is easy to understand will come to you because it is the information relevant to that frequency level. So again, follow the formula, follow your passion, raise your frequency, go into the channeling state. You will receive what you need and you will understand it more clearly because on that level, things are clearer and more understandable.
Yes, that's really good. Thank you.
Yes.
Many people have experiences where it appears that ghosts are getting stuck on Earth due to unfinished business. And this is how we get haunted houses where paranormal things happen. Is this really what's happening, or is there another explanation?
In many cases, yes, that is what is happening to some degree. If spirits have unfinished business, they may hang around. It's not necessarily always that they're stuck, per se. They may be doing this quite intentionally, quite consciously. But yes, there are those few that may be confused about their status, where they are, who they are now, the fact that they're even dead. But again, the idea is that many of them may simply have business to attend to and may need to adjust their frequency to be able to do that. So yes, in some sense. But again, remember, as we have explained, there are many different kinds of things that can be happening that may appear to be a living ghost, so to speak, while some things may simply be repeating loops of incidents that have been impressed into the space-time fabric, and that may not actually be a live event. You may even be seeing into parallel realities that may appear diaphanous and transparent to you, but to themselves may be a solid reality just like you perceive your reality to be. And they may, from time to time, be perceiving your reality as if you are a spirit or a ghost, when in fact they're just peering through vibrationally into your reality, but not so fully as to see you as a solid being. So again, as we have explained, there are many different ways in which you can perceive things that may appear to be a living ghost, but don't necessarily have to be.
Okay, now you may already have answered this, but what determines whether a ghost appears as an orb or as a partial or full apparition?
Well, again, the intention of the moment, why they may need to project something that might be familiar to the person they may be interacting with or perceiving. But in a relaxed state, a spirit is usually perceived as an orb. So it depends on the level at which it is necessary for them to project something else that would give them a different appearance than that.
Did you once say that ghosts are people too?
Yes, and we were quoting the idea of something that has been said by a person that is very familiar with assisting spirits to cross over to the other side more fully.